Ian, what's up, my man? How you doing today?
Didn't I see you at a Shaq party last year during the Super Bowl, or did I imagine that?
No, you sure did. There's probably not a lot of parties you won't see me at, especially in Miami, Ian. I'm always there. You know that.
Yeah, I feel like there might be a party or two down there in Miami. I need to brace myself for what that experience is going to be like, which is good. I love
Yep.
Super Bowl week.
Well, it's actually Miami is close to Jacksonville, so that's where I want to turn here or start with you first. With Jalen Ramsey, the latest update on the Jalen Ramsey situation with the Jaguars. What's the latest?
Well, owner Shad Khan talked to a reporter today from The Street, which is a Wall Street-based publication, I believe. At least I hope. They seem to be on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. And he said he expects Ramsey to play this week, which is very interesting, which is not something I had heard before. And he's basing this on owner Shad Khan as his conversation with Ramsey Tuesday when Ramsey came into the building and the two had a heart-to-heart. All this is fine. I just have not heard from Ramsey or someone close to him that he actually is going to play. And that's what I think gives me a little bit of pause, because this situation has always been nothing I imagined or anticipated. It has been way more complicated, way more nuanced than anything I remember. And, I just would like to make sure that Ramsey's actually playing before we all kind of talk about it, because as you know, he has worked himself back very slowly from this back injury. So let's see what happens.
In this heart-to-heart, do you think that a contract possibly was talked about with maybe Shad Khan extending that, hey, we're going to take care of you, we want you here, or what possibly was discussed for him to think that, I feel good about playing again with the Jaguars?
Well, I think the main thing, and I don't get the sense a contract would do it. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, and he sort of explained this on his podcast. He's going to get paid. He is not a guy who's like, pay me, pay me, pay me. You need to give me what I'm worth, or else what. He's just not like that. He's going to make a lot of money. He's going to make whenever he gets a new contract, he's going to be the highest paid corner in the NFL, as is obvious as he should. I don't get the sense he's clamoring for a new contract right now. In fact, history shows he's better served waiting anyway, because the money's just going to get higher. I think it was more just, and obviously it wasn't there, but I think it was more just, an explanation for why the owner doesn't want to move him. Because, at some point, if the owner doesn't want to trade you, you're not getting traded. And I think that's kind of where this situation is, and I would imagine that's what was explained to Jalen Ramsey.
NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport joining the Rich Eisen show. Kirk Morrison filling in for Rich. Ian, last time I saw you, we were down in Napa at the Napa Valley Marriott watching a joint practice between the Rams and the Raiders. And the talk around the Rams camp was that Ty Gurley will be on a pitch count. We'll see how they utilize him early on. Now, he looks to be pretty healthy, I guess, going in terms of last week. Started to look like he was catching his stride, and he shows up on the injury report right now. What's the latest that you hear from Ty Gurley and this mysterious quadriceps injury that came out of nowhere?
Yeah, I think it didn't come out of nowhere, but it did catch the Rams by surprise a little bit, because, it sounded like when he left on Thursday, I'm not going to say he was fine, but they thought he was going to be okay. And now it's something where, to my understanding, like his status is really up in the air. I don't know, I don't know if he's going to play on Sunday. I really don't. I wish I did. I know they're getting the other guys ready to play. And so, we'll kind of see where it all goes. I also know that not only are the Rams confident in the guys behind them, but they are okay in doing everything they can to make sure that Gurley is ready late in the season. So, if they needed to be cautious and not play him in week, whatever this is, 7 or whatever, then I think they would be okay with that. So we'll see what the final determination is, but it's not a situation where everyone goes, yeah, he's fine, don't even worry about it. It's not like that.
Well, Ian, I know who won't be playing this season, not just this week, but this season. Vontaze Burfict, the suspension upheld by Derek Brooks, the arbitrator in this situation. So what's next for, I guess, Vontaze Burfict? There is no more appeals process. What ultimately the deciding factor on keeping him out this season?
Yeah, I mean, we have not gotten a decision from Derek Brooks, the third-party arbitrator. I know everyone thinks it's the NFL. It's not the NFL. It's the NFL and the NFLPA jointly appoint him as the arbitrator. And he had upheld a Burfict suspension in the past. He is a good guy who has a lot of respect for the game. So, when Derek Brooks upholds your year-long suspension, that is pretty noteworthy to me. And I don't know if he's going to play again because he'll be 30. He's a middle linebacker. He has his history. Obviously, we all know it. You know it. Mm-hmm. Does anyone want to sign him and give him any sort of money and have him, hit someone else? And there you lose your middle linebacker that you counted on for the whole season. Because the next time this happens, it's probably going to be the season too. So I don't know if he's going to play again. I think it's possible we've seen the last of Vontaze Burfict.
Ian Rapoport, the NFL Network insider, joining the Rich Eisen show. Kirk Morrison here, filling in for Rich. And so, Ian, we knew early this week the key card did not work for one Jay Gruden, or I think it worked initially, and then it was declined later on. So there's a coaching vacancy already open.
It worked at about 4 a.m, and then after that, not as much, yes.
But there's an opening now with the Washington Redskins, but yet they still have a season to play. They still got a bunch of games left. How do they handle the rest of the season? How do you think they're going to handle Dwayne Haskins kind of moving forward?
I would say it sounds like they'd like Haskins to not do anything, which, look, Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the NFL now. He didn't do anything as a rookie except play in Week 17. And he looked great when he did, but he hardly played at all. I think it's okay, that he doesn't. I think it's okay if he doesn't play. They sound like they don't want to rush him. And, whoever the next coach is, and we know obviously now there is going to be another coach. I'm sure it's not going to be Bill Callahan in there. We'll see what they end up deciding, but it does seem they're fine having him wait and not play and kind of develop slowly.
So they're not tanking, but yet at some point, because I think back to when the Kansas City Chiefs did let Patrick Mahomes sit, it was because they had a good football team and Alex Smith was the starting quarterback. So it was easy to kind of let a guy sit when Alex is performing.
Right.
How much longer, or what does Daniel Snyder do if this team continues to lose and yet their best option probably at quarterback, you're forcing him to sit?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, them continuing to lose is not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I know you'd always sort of like to win, but them continuing to lose is probably something that will end up paying dividends, for the Washington Redskins. So it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to do everything you can to win right now. It's just the reality of the draft system.
I know it's still early in the season, Ian, and one coaching hire or opening is already available. Who do you probably think is probably next up on that possible getting oust the rest of the season?
Well, I think, a lot of it depends on what happens in the field. I think, people are watching the Falcons. I think that's one. And my colleague Deion Sanders said some stuff earlier in the week kind of indicating that, and he's obviously a Falcons legend, indicating that, he sort of thought that the Falcons are in some trouble. I would agree. I don't know how immediate it is, but, that's a situation where I'm definitely kind of watching the Falcons to potentially being next there.
Oof. That's look, I'm looking at right now and I'm thinking, is there a situation outside of Dan Quinn or anybody else in terms of the coaching circles? Is Zach Taylor, we talked about a little bit earlier with the Bengals, and now it kind of circles around with A.J. Green. With them being 0-5 right now, the Cincinnati Bengals, is there a point that we may not see A.J. Green in a Cincinnati Bengals uniform probably by the end of the year?
I have not gotten – I got to run after this and do some TV, but I have not gotten that indication at all about the Bengals trading A.J. Green. I mean, to me, he is a huge part of their franchise. He personally has been quoted as saying that he wants to be Larry Fitzgerald, which is to play his entire career in the organization. If they decide to trade him, they trade him. I have never heard from anyone that they want to trade or even would entertain offers for A.J. Green. Plus, if you think about it logically, he's a 31-year-old receiver who hasn't played all season, ended last year with a lower leg injury. I'm not sure the value is going to be great for the Bengals anyway. I mean, who's going to offer a premium pick for a 31-year-old receiver who has been hobbled the last couple of years? I think that's a good question as well.
Yeah, I know you got to run, Ian. I appreciate the time as always.
All right. Thank you for having me, man. Take care.
All good. Ian Rapoport, NFL Network insider.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.